I'm Julie.
And I'm Melanie.
And we're Moms on a Mission,
empowered to bring abundance to our families.
So much space today. We should like be cheerleading positions. Yeah, because I can, and I'm going to just talk with my hand up here.
Okay.
Get our energy back up. Okay. Ta-da!
Okay. 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 Okay.
Here.
Okay. 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 There's. Okay. There's.
Yeah, that
one. Okay. The oil of today is frankincense. And this is a really incredible oil. This is an oil that is kind of like one size fits all. It is really beneficial for your brain, it's beneficial for mood, it's also really beneficial for pain. This is really my lifeline. This has actually been proven to be anti-cancerous, which I find incredible. And it's antifungal, and it's antiviral, and it's antibacterial. The other thing that's incredible about frankincense is it's what's called an accelerator, or what else do they call it? Yeah. It's an amplifying oil. So if you apply one oil and then you layer the frankincense over the top of that, then you are going to get an amplified effect. Follow both of us on Instagram because we're there, and we usually, most every day, we put something up, and you can see that I posted about frankincense, and it's just saved my life.
So with essential oils, I find this is kind of my way that I look at it is that your body is only as good as what you're putting into it. So if you're using essential oils as your medicine, then you need to be careful that your food is also your medicine, because if it's pushing garbage out of your body, but you just keep putting garbage into your body and you're not supporting the rest of your system with medicinal food, then the oils can't do their job as well. So that's what we wanted to talk about today, was how to make your medicine and your food be a team together.
Yeah, absolutely. So for the last couple months, I really had this strong impression that fermented foods were going to be the next part of our healing journey. And when we cut out dairy, we cut out yogurt and kefir and cheese and all those things that you would naturally get that are just part of most people's life that are fermented or have that beneficial bacteria in it. And so we've cut all of that out, and we've struggled to really get all of the probiotics that we need to colonize our gut. And so I feel like there's probably things that we could digest and that we could tolerate, but we're not, because we don't have the microbes that we need in our gut to really heal us. So I've made it a point the last couple weeks to really start studying this, and I'm just super excited about it. So we wanted to jump in and share that with you guys today.
One of the things that I find scares people about the word bacteria is that they think that it's a foreign object, that it's something to always be killed. And the thing is that what allows our bodies to function is the bacteria in our system. When we're born, we get our mother's bacteria, and then that initial bacteria actually colonizes our whole GI tract, and it morphs and it changes, and as you introduce new foods, new bacteria start to evolve. And so it's a beautiful symphony of bacteria that's taking care of you. It's not something that you need to put antibacterial stuff on your hand every time. It's that the stronger the bacteria, the stronger the good bacteria in your body, the stronger you are, and that bacteria won't let outsiders in that would ruin the lovely symphony that is you with your own gut bugs.
Yeah, and the amazing thing is they have found in research recently that we are 10 parts bacteria to every 1 part human. So we are way more bacteria. We think of ourselves as a human, and bacteria is something that you wash off your hands. But there is actually more of us that's made up of this bacteria than there is of our actual human genes. And the thing that's just so incredible, you know, if you take humans and you put them in the world and climate changes, and or if you move, you know, like we came from Arizona up to Idaho, and totally different climates, totally different, you know, viruses and stuff going on. The amazing thing, our bodies adapt very slowly, but the microbiome, all of that inside of you and what's living on your skin and resides in your mouth, those can adapt almost in a heartbeat.
Right.
And so it's so amazing the way that they adapt and change and can evolve and help us, our immune system, to strengthen us and to give us, well, it's amazing what they give us. I mean, it's like they convert the foods that we eat into vitamins. They help us digest things, and they actually, you know, we've talked about the hazards of GMOs and all of those toxins. And if you have a really strong colony that's living inside of you where you're really supporting your microbiome, then those things are not as much of a concern, because there are actually beneficial bacteria that can go and eat and dissolve and get rid of those toxins so they don't affect your body. It's really just the most fascinating, incredible thing.
One of the things we learned when we were doing an elimination diet was that if you have a yeast infection, like a systemic yeast infection, what's actually happened is that the friendly bacteria in your body is doing its best to get rid. Is that going on?
No, that's not it. Sorry.
Even with a yeast infection, where you would think that it was something that was taking your body over and making you sick, what it is that the friendly bacteria in your body is trying to eliminate something toxic. And that's what the yeast infection is you have so much in your body that yeast is trying to get rid of and consume and use up, that there's an imbalance. And so if you have some kind of skin irritation or yeast infection or things that seem of bacterial nature, it's your body communicating to you that there's too much of one food and not enough of another food.
So what do we do about all of this? Because you've got eczema, or you've got, you know, rosacea, or you can't digest things, or you're sick all the time. All of those things are, or maybe you have lots of gas and bloating. Yeah. All of those things point to your microbiome is out of balance.
Well, my mom, she has these out in her garage. And we'll talk about this later, but she calls them her friends.
Yeah.
When she starts up a new batch of anything that's fermented, the ferment is bacteria that you're inoculating your body with, kind of as a reset. Mm-hmm. It can change into whatever it needs to in your body, but it's a certain strain of what you know is healthy, right, healthy bacteria that then can fulfill the needs of your body so that the correct strains of bacteria can get started.
Fill this with water. It's not a place that the air can get into. So these beneficial microbes, they grow and they colonize in here and they preserve your foods. And not only that, but they amplify the vitamins and minerals. And then they grow these strains of bacteria in here that just strengthen your body.
Well, and they pre-digest the food.
Right.
So it's if you have a weak digestive system, this is it's like you already chewed it and it's already been digested for you before it ever goes into your body.
Yep. And they've done research that lactic acid, which is what grows and causes things to ferment, lactic acid is something that can actually fight off colds, and even, you know, some of the major diseases can be warded off just with lactic acid.
Yeah.
So it's really, really incredible. And then the thing, you know, we talk about growing your own food. Hi. We talk about growing your own food and how important that is, and it really hit home with me this week, just in a bigger way than it hasn't already, just how important that is, because everybody's soil has different microbes in them. So if you are using your permaculture system and you're out there in your garden and you have all this beneficial bacteria growing in your ground, and then you grow your plants in it, and they have that beneficial bacteria on them, and you bring them inside, and then you ferment them, you are giving your body exactly what it needs for this area. Now, if I'm getting my cabbage from California, and I'm fermenting it, I'm still going to see some benefits, but it's not going to be this localized, specialized, exactly what I need formula. And if you can't grow a garden, then please do go get it.
One thing I wanted to comment about is that fermenting is not the same as canning. It does preserve it, but it preserves a live food. The same thing goes for when you salt and smoke meat, is that there is an actual bacteria, because on all of these you're using salt. Salt is what allows this to ferment in the correct way, because the bacteria like the salt. It keeps all the other bacteria from growing. And when you cure meat the same way without all the chemicals, you actually have bacteria living in the meat that is keeping the meat from going bad. And it's pre-digested when it comes into your body. Whereas with canning, it has a long shelf life, and it's something that's really great for food storage. We're not knocking that, but if all you're eating is dead food, you're not getting that recolonization effect the same as you would with a fermented food.
Yeah, yeah, and if you're following the USDA safety guidelines, which is something I do when I can, you are pasteurizing that food. So I do a ton of canning. I'm all for it for what it's for, but I would do it along with this so that you are continually recolonizing that gut, and it doesn't take a lot. One of the things I was talking about or listening to this week was someone was talking about how here in America, you know, we supersize everything, and we think, okay, well, if I'm supposed to do fermented foods, I'm just going to take in, you know, tons of fermented foods and this and that. Yeah, it is. It's like a medicine. It's like the oils. He said that just a couple tablespoons a day is all you need. So if you're doing the sauerkraut, just put a little bit with your dinner and you're good to go.
Although you start to crave it. I remember the first time my mom was making it, she did it with radishes. She made kimchi, which is like a sauerkraut, but it's made with radishes. And when she first started it, we were kind of leery because we thought it looked a little weird, but then it has this flavor that you can almost feel it in your bones when you're eating it, and you start to, it's not like a craving, it's more like a satiated, I'm finally full kind of a feeling, and your body will actually start to request it in a different way than it does sweets and other things that are more of a craving. It feels like real deep nutritional hunger.
Yeah.
And for a kid to feel that about something like kimchi,
yeah, that's a big deal.
It's a big deal. And it starts to feel like your foundation food, and that if you have a little bit of this, everything else digests better. And it starts to feel like a tonic to your system.
Yeah, well, it really, that's what it is.
Yeah.
And there's so many different things that you can do too.
Yeah.
You know, and one of the important reasons that you would want to diversify it is because you can get an overgrowth of one specific bacteria. So get some sauerkraut and make some water kefir or some milk kefir.
Or beet kvass. My mom makes beet kvass.
And the kimchi, there's so many things.
My mom makes turmeric. Now some things, like the cabbage and everything, they by themselves are a food, but if you do it with certain, you know, like turmeric, what would be another kind of medicinal root, something like ginger?
Like a fire cider?
Yeah, or a fire cider, something like that that has medicinal properties in whatever you're taking it out of.
Yeah.
So you have the ferment, but you also have the medicine of the plant itself. Yeah, that's really kind of blowing you out of the water.
Yeah, it increases everything exponentially.
Yeah.
It's not like ginger plus turmeric equals this. It's ginger times turmeric times to the 10th power. I mean, it's just incredible the way that it increases those vitamins and minerals and the beneficial properties that it has.
And be cautious when you're starting on this kind of journey. You can look at something and think, oh, that's pretty, or oh, that is nutritional, or I've heard of somebody using this. Like, there's certain things you should never ingest that look like, if you see pretty berries and you're thinking we should turn that into a wine, you should double check that it's not belladonna. You know, nightshade would be a bad thing
please don't
to ferment, and so don't be cautious with your wild crafting when you're going out. Have somebody reputable show you how to do it if it's a new kind of plant. Some kinds of plants have toxins that come out of their system from leaves, but their bark is fine, like elderberries. You don't want to be eating their leaves or their bark, but you know, in certain situations, different plants react differently to different preparation ways. So make sure to do a little bit of research on that part of it.
Yeah,
because we don't have grandmas.
Yeah.
Do you have a great grandma who sat you down and said, "Now this is how you ferment, honey"?
Yeah.
You know, because we didn't have that handed down. My great grandmother fermented, but my grandma didn't, and so she didn't pass it down to her mom. And my mom had to relearn it all and teach it to me. And so it's like we had to start over on our basic knowledge.
Yeah, I think we need to try it this way. So if this all seems kind of scary and like, oh, I've never had sauerkraut before and I don't think my family would eat any of that, look for some of the things that are what we consider normal, that we're used to tasting, that taste like that. So a couple of those things would be pickles. And if you've never had bubbly pickles, you are missing out because they are so, so good. And then Julianne mentioned pickled peppers are really good. You know, like you put on your nachos, the jalapenos.
Yeah,
And
really good.
yeah, when you have that bubbly flavor, to add, well, bubbly isn't a flavor, but
Alive. I think of
Yeah.
it as like an alive aroma. The plant, when it picked, it didn't stop living. It just turned into another form of life, and it just feels like you're eating life.
Yeah, it's amazing. It gives you that kind of sparkle in your mouth like you get from maybe a ginger ale that's real or something like that. And then that's another thing. Oh my goodness. If you want to get into fun ferments, there's the ginger bug that you can do. There's
Kombucha.
Yeah, kombucha, and there's water kefir, and there's jun, and that's kind of like a.
Is it?
Yeah, it's like a kombucha.
Oh, fun.
So there's a lot of those different things that you can do to help colonize your gut, and it's just amazing. So we want to talk to you about some of the equipment that is really helpful. Fermenting is such a simple process. You really don't need a lot of big fancy things. When I started with pickles. They are in a glass jar. It's really, really important to use glass. Don't use metal and don't use plastic for the part that's touching your food. It does have a plastic lid, and that's fine because it's not coming in contact with anything. But, and then, I don't know if you can see it, but the weight that's in there is just a rock from the garden, and I boiled it, and that's what's weighting all the food down because that has to stay submerged under the water. So then there's also these airlocks, and these are really nice because instead of having to open it up and burp it a couple times every day, what you do is you fill this full of water up to the line here, and then if you watch the turmeric video with Julie's mom, she has this most amazing thing where she put glycerin on the top of that to keep the water from evaporating, and that is huge. So that way you don't end up with it drying out and then you end up spoiling your whole batch of stuff. So what these do is they allow the gases to escape. There's little air holes on here, so the bubbles gurgle up, but the water keeps it from any air coming back into them. So if you're worried about introducing any different bacteria into your food other than what you actually want to be growing in there, you can pick up these pickle pebbles, and they're not the cheapest thing in the world, but they're just a big old glass puck, and they are super, super dense. They're not porous at all, and so you won't have to worry about, with a rock it's porous, and so it can actually transfer some air into your container. So you have to boil those, and you do have to be a little more careful. And I have had a higher rate of failure when I put a rock in there as opposed to getting the glass pebbles. So that's something you can buy that makes it useful. The airlocks are really nice. And then if you really want to get into fermenting, the crocks are super awesome. And this thing weighs like 6 arms and 3 legs. It's so heavy.
Don't lift it up.
Do you want me to do it? I told you it's heavy.
Hers is a lot bigger than mine. Mine are like 2 gallons.
Yeah,
How many gallons is this? 5?
Yeah, it's a 5 gallon. We did pickles in these last year.
Did you want your stone?
Yeah. And then these are the weights, and I don't know, I think they're like a 2 pound for each one, so it's like 4 pounds. And this is for holding, like if you're doing sauerkraut or anything, hold it down under the liquid, and that way the bacteria, the beneficial bacteria can grow in the liquid, and because of the salt, it keeps the harmful bacteria out.
For my mom, what she does is once they come and they're perfect, she'll take them and put them in a jar and put them in the fridge.
Yeah.
She'll put a lid on them and put them in the fridge so that they're at a colder temperature, because once you start getting into higher temperatures in the summer, even if you have a root cellar, they're winter food. The fermented foods are meant to be a winter food. In the summer, you're eating fresh, and so the purpose of the ferment, it's not that you wouldn't eat it in the summer, it's so that you have fresh in the winter.
So I use a grape leaf to cover it, and that kind of holds everything in, and I know your mom said she uses a big cabbage leaf. That works good too.
But the cabbage leaf, and she's used kale before, or collards, and it made the whole thing taste horrible. So I think
did it?
the kale did.
Oh,
The
yeah,
cabbage
I would
didn't,
think
but
the kale would. Yeah, I wouldn't use kale. But the fun thing about grape leaves, you can use this if you want to. You could roll it up and make a roll out of it and eat it. They are edible, and they also have tannins in them that make your pickles crisp.
Okay, Melanie, stop talking. I want to taste it.
It's time to eat them.
Those are perfect.
Yeah?
Oh, I think I know what this is. I think
It's really good. Got any pink? Look.
Yum.
Yeah.
I think it's
What was it sitting next to?
Is that a spicy one?
Ooh, you should try this one.
Oh, and then I can taste the dill. Yeah.
That one was good.
Yeah, that one was really yummy, huh?
We're ready.
Oh, those were so good. I'm so glad we made that.
Do you want to take a jar home?
I would love to take a jar home if you have
I've
extra.
got some downstairs. I'll go get them.
So, fun testing, fun tasting. Go try it yourself if you have questions. Let us know, and we'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Those are so good.
Shrimp pickle? No.
Were those not the best thing you've ever had?